Alright, so I just want to share some ideas I've had in my head. December the 1st, 2023, and I've been thinking about how, well, I don't know if they're working on or have been working on this type of thing, but it seems like on the image generation side, these image generation models are basically blind, and I don't understand why. Because in the human tradition until now, as far as people making images, a large part of that is developing their ability to perceive, not just drawing is not just about making marks on a paper or whatever. It's about first being able to see, being able to analyze and interpret that visual data, and then taking that judgment, taking that and making choices. So I've been thinking something that I might work on is I'm gonna try to learn how to code and program, and I don't know where that's gonna go, but I think maybe it can help me to use the machine in a way that I can actually steer the thing. Because right now it would be like if I sit in my car and I want to drive somewhere, and so I turn on the car and I put it in drive, and I don't have a steering wheel. I'm almost completely going to be guided by the terrain that I'm on. Is the street even? It's going to depend on other external factors like are my tires balanced, or is there something wrong with the mechanical components of the car, or rather that maybe I have a steering wheel, but instead of it being about yay size like we're used to, maybe it's just really small. So it would be very difficult to actually steer this giant thing like that. And this whole thing of using words to prompt the AI image generation, it only works if you're really trying to say, okay, I am in one country and I want to get to the other country. And yeah, it'll get you into another country. But as far as getting into a specific neighborhood or a specific place within somebody's house, it's like getting to the level of okay, if I were to map their house, the interior, and it's let's just say their living room is about I don't know, 12 meters by 3 meters or whatever, and I want to be exactly this many millimeters and this many millimeters. That's where I want to be standing, and I want the AI to take me there. It's not going to do it. But the problem is that people on, for whatever reason, this is not a judgment on them, but the people developing the current systems, they don't seem to have any interest in how people did it up until now. Instead, they've made their own path. And that's not wrong, it's just a different way. But with all systems, there's going to be limitations of these systems. So what I'm saying is, if the machine could do these things, for example, given a certain image, it should be able to look for 3D geometric forms like a cylinder, a cube, a cone, right? And it should be able to find them, identify them, and categorize them into a list. And then from there, it can take that list and go through the list and analyze these 3D primitive container objects, and search for connections like if one is actually if it can't find a single, can it find well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Analyze those bigger containers and look for smaller containers branching off of it. Like my this could be a section of a cylinder. That is, we have to start simple. The forearm could be a long narrow cylinder that's a truncated cylinder, and then off of it you could have a box or a section of whatever for the palm part of a hand, and then the fingers would be extending out, and so then it's a parent to a child relationship to other children relationships to other children within those, or rather those are more sibling relationships than children relationships, because in this model would be able to see that. And then after that, it would be able to do is, what did I write? So those first two steps, if it doesn't find, so some objects would be easier to find those than others, like ice cream cone with one scoop would be approximately like one cone with a sphere on top, or a merge of those two. So you could be like Boolean those two 3D objects, and the result is the identity of that object, an ice cream cone with one scoop. And then you can assign an identity to those two, but they do belong to the same object. There's just a relationship distinction between that parts of that same object. Okay, so if it doesn't find that, it would have to do is do a little bit of what I would call shape, or people have called two-dimensional object shapes, and three-dimensional they would call forms. So I would call it shape or form math, which is very simple. It's just you look for, and if you can't find, then you start analyzing. Can I find within? Can I find one? So if I can find a sphere here, do I find any others? Like a cylinder could be extending off of it, and then you have a shape that would be that, or like say for example a box, a thin box, and then off of it you have a cone that's truncated, that the top is being lopped off. So then that could be like a traffic cone. So that's a way that it could. The point is this: until it understands the three-dimensional nature of our perception as humans, it's going to be lacking. And yes, I know that pretty soon, probably this year or next year or whatever, is supposed to be the year of embodiment, that is bringing these language models and this other stuff and put it into pre-existing robotics, and then setting it out into the world and letting it learn. And yes, that'll probably be the way that it does it on its own. But I'm saying that until then, I guess a thing that I would like to work on is there a way that I can maybe train a small model to be able to do this process on its own without having to venture forth, based on the existing work we've done in image synthesis, that is the traditional way of making images with by observing and interpreting and analyzing the visual world, the world around us via sight. Is there a way of training it to be able to do that at a base level, so that more in the future, perhaps more sophisticated models can take that base and expand it out? And that would be where the people on that side, because I'm coming from the visual side, but I don't know I want to learn the code, I want to learn the development, the programming part, but I want to learn it. I understand that I'm old, so as far as this goes, all that's really going to be is the best I'm going to get is learn enough of it to be useful to that side, and maybe I can do that. So yeah, we'll see, I guess.